my WWE Extreme Rules 2011 pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view just went off there, and I gotta say, this was actually a very good pay-per-view outing from WWE. I gotta say, really on this pay-per-view, the only things that were bad were probably the 2 tag matches on this pay-per-view. The one involving Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross taking on Jack Swagger and Michael Cole, and the thrown together match for the tag team titles they just put on here at the last minute, the Lumberjacks match, the Corre versus Big Show and Kane. Those are really the only 2 bad things on here as far as matches. You maybe could throw the women's match in there as well, but the reason why I'm not really including that so much is because it was pretty much saved due to post-match in that match with Amazing Kong debuting and WWE coming out there, beating down Michelle McCool. That was great seeing her debut, and obviously her WWE name is Karma, which for a WWE name, I thought they would have came up with something worse, so I actually can deal with that name. It's not bad. It's not as bad as what they've come up with some other talent in the past, so decent name for her, and glad to see her in WWE. And the 2 title matches on here was good. Great seeing Christian finally become the World Heavyweight Champion. That was a great moment on this show. And just overall, from top to bottom, you saw a lot of good stuff on here. I wouldn't say you saw like a match of the year candidate, but you saw a number of very good matches on here. And you know, the 2 tag matches and the women's match were the only thing that were like passable on the show. Everything else was in the category of good to very good on this show. So let me get into the pay-per-view. The first matchup was the CM Punk versus Randy Orton last man standing match. It started off with good back and forth action. Really enjoyable match right here. They did one spot where CM Punk he put a chair around Orton's neck, threw him into the post. Then Orton hit the RKO onto the announcer table. Did a few other things in here. Just very good match and a good way to start the pay-per-view. I'm actually surprised this match started the pay-per-view. I was expecting something else to start this, but a very good way to start the pay-per-view right here. And to no one's surprise, Randy Orton wins this match. This will obviously be the end of the feud. The way this match ends, CM Punk, he was at the top. He had a kendo stick in his hand. He was on the top rope. Looked like he was going to do something to Orton. Orton had a kendo stick as well. Went up there, hit CM Punk in the shoulder with it. CM Punk kind of fell forward, hit him in the back. Then Orton got up there, basically hit a super RKO to CM Punk, and CM Punk was down right there, and that was the end of the match. So CM Punk and Randy Orton's feud is obviously going to be over, with Randy Orton picking up the victory right here in a very good opener, 3.5 stars, maybe even 3 3/4 stars. I really enjoyed this match a lot. Could possibly be one of the best matches on this pay-per-view, I would think. That's in my opinion, at least. And then the next matchup was, I think this match was pretty much another. This was a match that was added at the last minute. It was actually a pretty good match right here. This was Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston for the United States title, and the gimmick for this match was a tables match. A number of good things in this match. You saw, Sheamus trying to, throw Kofi Kingston into the table with the Celtic Cross, doing the big boot, and Kofi Kingston did a number of good things in here. I guess at one point he got out of the Celtic Cross, rolled through it, and hit a double stomp. Then he basically Sheamus went for the big boot, I think, and looked like Kofi Kingston was going to go through a table, and he pretty much just jumped over it, got out of the way there. And the end of the match comes where Kofi Kingston hits the Trouble in Paradise. There's a table outside. Sheamus falls to the floor. He gets up, trying to get back into the ring, and he's kind of holding himself up with the table. And you see Kofi Kingston do a double leg drop through the table onto Sheamus to become the new U.S. champion, which makes sense here because with the draft here, you had you have to have the U.S. titles now on Raw, with Kofi Kingston being on Raw and Wade Barrett's obviously the IC champion. So they got out of the way of having both mid card titles off of the pay per view. So it made sense doing this match. And Kofi Kingston and Sheamus put on a pretty good match here, pretty entertaining. I thought I would give it 3 stars. Saw some good stuff in there from both of them. Then the next matchup was probably the worst thing of the night. I don't know if this is the worst thing or the Lumberjack match. You could probably, toss it up between them two. This was Michael Cole and Jack Swagger versus Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross in a country whipping match. Just like WrestleMania, I could care less about this whole Michael Cole feud with Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross being involved, and obviously Swagger being with Cole just cannot stand it. You know, Michael Cole, I do give him credit. He does a great job of getting heat. He does a great job as a heel. You know, he's that annoying guy that you just love to hate. So he does a good job at that. I'll give him credit right there. But I'm hoping this thing doesn't get dragged out too much longer. Wouldn't be shocked if they drag something like this out, especially with Swagger being drafted to Raw. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to drag it out all the way till SummerSlam. Hopefully they don't do this and end it very soon. Michael Cole and Jack Swagger win this match after Cole rolls up Jared King Lawler, because JR, before that, he was whipping Jack Swagger with the whip. And Cole was behind him, pretty much rolled him up, got his, came out of nowhere, picked up the victory for him and Jack Swagger. Just not good at all. I would say about 1.5 stars, and that's probably being very, very generous. Then the next matchup was Cody Rhodes and versus Rey Mysterio. This was a Falls Count Anywhere match. Really enjoyed this match a lot. They went all over the arena. It started off with very close at the beginning. You saw Rey Mysterio dive off the stage onto Cody Rhodes. Then they went to the concession stands. Did a number of good things there. Got back into the ring, and that's where the match ended. With Rey Mysterio, he spewed some mist into the eyes of Cody Rhodes. That pretty much stunned Cody Rhodes for a second, and he pretty much fell through to Rey Mysterio to hit him with the 619. Rey hits the 619 on him and then does the splash to Cody Rhodes. So Rey Mysterio wins this match right here. And a very good match between these two. And obviously with them being on separate shows, just like CM Punk and Randy Orton, those two feuds are, for the most part, probably over. And I would think they are, especially with the gimmick matches, Falls Count Anywhere match for this, and then you had Last Man Standing. You'd think, obviously, those two feuds are over now, so they'll do something else with, Mysterio on Raw. Cody Rhodes will do a different feud on SmackDown now. But Cody Rhodes has really shown himself to be, somewhat a big good star with this Rey Mysterio feud right here. Rey Mysterio has really put him over very well and within this feud, so Mysterio picked up the win here, and I would say about a 3.5 star match. Really enjoyable stuff in here. Like I said, they went all over the arena, did a number of good things, then they came back in the ring, and Mysterio picked up the win. And the next matchup was, as you'll see, down in the description box, this probably had the worst star rating of the night, but I wouldn't say it was probably in some ways wasn't the worst match just because the post-match thing really kind of saved it for me. This was Layla and Michelle McCool, just typical Divas match, nothing too special, it wasn't a god-awful match, but, just nothing good at all. This loser leave gimmick match here with Layla picking up the victory, so Michelle McCool's out. Then after the match, Michelle McCool is basically crying because she, has to leave WWE with this right here, and it actually does seem like WWE is actually going to follow through this, and she'll actually be off of TV. Don't know the reasoning behind that, but it obviously is true that she is going to be off of TV, and she is going to be gone from WWE, at least for on-screen wise. At least that's the way I heard from some rumors prior to the pay-per-view. So Layla picked up the victory here with Michelle McCool losing this match. Loser leaves WWE. Then after this match, you saw, like I said, Michelle McCool crying. And then Karma, a.k.a. Amazing Kong's music hit, came out there, beat down Michelle McCool. And great moment right there. And great way to debut her right there, coming out there, just beating down Michelle McCool. Just a great thing to see right there. And I'm probably not the only one that loves seeing her beat down Michelle McCool. Then the next matchup was Alberto Del Rio versus Christian in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Number of good spots in this ladder match. Really enjoyed it. They really had you on your edge of your seat because you did not know which way this was going to go, because it looked like it was going either way, because at the end of the match you're like, looks like Christian is going to lose this match, because you saw Brodus Clay come out there, get involved, and that made you think, Christian doesn't look like he's going to win this, and Alberto Del Rio is going to sneak in there and win the title. And Brodus Clay, he got busted open very badly in this match. I don't know if it was because of when Christian used the little step ladder and hit him with that, or when he fell to the big ladder or whatnot, but he really got busted open very bad in this match. They did a spot at the end where it looked like you saw Alberto Del Rio looked like he was going to grab the title. Then you saw to the stage in a Jeep, you saw Edge come out there, He honked the horn that distracted Alberto Del Rio, and then Christian knocked the ladder over. Alberto Del Rio fell to the floor onto Brodus Clay, and his manager as well, Rodriguez. And Christian then gets the ladder up, goes up the ladder, and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. Great moment right there, and I'm glad they finally made him World Heavyweight Champion. Something I think a lot of people have been wanting to see for a long time. Since he's come back to WWE, I think everyone's been waiting for him to finally become World Champion, and they finally did it. And great moment there with Edge being out there with him, winning the championship right there. And it was a pretty good ladder match as well. It wasn't a great ladder match, but it was a fairly good ladder match, and I think it did him. I will admit that I'm probably rating it a little higher since Christian won it. You know, match-wise, probably give it like 3 stars, maybe 3 1/4. But I would give it 3.5 stars just for the overall. The match was good, and it was just an extra, bonus seeing Christian finally become world champion. I think everyone is going to love this. Hopefully, they have him at least keep the title for a little while. Hopefully he doesn't, in 3 weeks when they do the Over the Limit pay-per-view, hopefully he doesn't lose the title that quick. Hopefully he keeps it a little longer than that. Then the next matchup was a match they just threw on last minute. It was the Lumberjacks match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. This was the core of Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson versus Big Show and Kane. Not much to talk about here. Big Show and Kane retained the championships in this match. Nothing that much to say. That's basically the match, and 1 star at best probably for that match, maybe 1 1/4, but at best just 1 star. It wasn't that long of a match, just something they put on there to kill some time. Then the main event was for the WWE Championship in a steel cage match with John Morrison versus John Cena versus The Miz. You saw some good work in this match with John Cena and The Miz. Morrison did some good stuff in here as well. Towards the end of this match, you saw, like you would expect, because earlier in the night, R-Truth did a promo, so you knew he was going to play some role in this match. He came in there. He pretty much, came in there at one point. Morrison was trying to go out of the cage, got the cage door slammed in his face. Then R-Truth came in there, beat him down. Then he actually hit the axe kick to Cena, and all of them were laid out. Miz was already laid out before that because John Morrison did a flip off the top of the cage onto John Morrison, the Miz, before he tried to crawl out of the cage and before R-Truth got involved in that match. And the end of the match comes, it was looking both ways that, not Morrison, but John Cena or Miz was going to win. They went to the top trying to both climb out of the cage. Cena finally gets him back in the ring, gets him into the position for the attitude adjustment, hits the attitude adjustment off the top rope to the ring, and he becomes the new WWE champion. So John Cena is the champion there, which makes sense because, tomorrow night you got The Rock being on Raw. Cena's the champion right now, so it adds a little something to that. And Cena, they kind of pretty much gave it away that he was probably going to become champion later on the night, because earlier in the night he did a promo basically saying that he hasn't been champion in 10 months. It's been a long time since he's been champion. So with that, you kind of knew Cena's probably going to win this championship. And The Miz had a fairly good title reign. He had the title for a longer than what a lot of people expected. He had the title probably for probably about 6 months, maybe 6 months and a few days. He's had that title for a little bit, so that's good. They had a pretty lengthy title reign for The Miz. It was someone that hasn't been champion before, so he had a good title reign right there. And obviously John Cena becoming champion, we knew it was going to happen sometime, so not too much of a shocker him winning the title right here. And the steel cage match I thought was pretty good. All of them worked very well with each other. Morrison did a lot of good, entertaining stuff in there, and all of them worked well with each other. So I'll probably give that match probably 3.5 stars. And on this pay-per-view, you really didn't have too much anything bad on here. Like the 2 tag matches and probably the women's match, probably the only bad things. But you had both world title matches were good. I liked the U.S. title match. The opener, the last man standing match with CM Punk and Randy Orton was good, and Cody Rhodes and Rey Mysterio was good. So this was actually a fairly good pay-per-view from WWE, and I would actually recommend this pay-per-view. I would give it probably about an 8 out of 10. Definitely a must-see show from WWE. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as what it actually turned out to be, so it actually surprised me it actually turned out to be this good of a show. So that's it for my WWE Extreme Rules 2011 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.